Welcome to the July 27th, 2023 public hearing of the Southampton Town Planning Board. We have a small audience. I don't need to go through safety issues. We'll have a roll call.
Chair LaFaro.
Present.
Vice Chair Finnerty is absent. Secretary is here. Board Member Catalinato.
Present.
Board Member Mutu.
Present.
Board Member Neely.
Present.
Board Member Fulham.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Please join us with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We're going to go in order, and the first application is Joseph Greiner. Do we have sufficient notice, Council?
We do, Madam Chair.
Great. And Tom is going to read that into the record.
Please take notice that in accordance with local law number 14 of 2022, a public hearing will be held by the Southampton Town Planning Board on Thursday, July 27th, 2023 at 6 p.m. at Town Hall, 116 Hampton Road, Southampton, and via video conferencing to consider the covenant amendment application entitled Joseph Greiner, Lot 1. The request is to amend the declaration of covenants and restrictions to eliminate the 25-foot wide natural buffer requirement located at 24 Halsey Lane within the hamlet of Spionk-Remsenburg, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-381-1-9.4.
Thanks, Tom.
For the applicant, James N. Hume, Kelly and Hume PC, 323 Mill Road, West Hampton Beach. Good evening. Good to see you all
evening.
in person. I haven't been here in person in a while. Yes, so as indicated, we're seeking to eliminate a buffer requirement that was attached to this property when it was subdivided. My client is the Greiners. This subdivision was undertaken in 2009 by Mr. Greiner's father. It was a two-lot subdivision, and the lot that somehow had the conservation buffer attached to it is lot number 1 of that subdivision, which lot was 40,000 square feet in size, which I think is double the zoning requirement for that area. But it did require a 25-foot buffer on the north end. My own research, and I think the research of the planner, can't identify any compelling reason for why that might have been imposed. It's become kind of an overgrown nuisance to my clients, and since there was no real reason, I think, for it to have been imposed in the first place, we're seeking to have it eliminated.
It was a bamboo invasion as well,
Yes,
was it not?
yes, correct.
Yeah. They're difficult.
Difficult
rid
thing
of.
to, especially when you're not allowed to battle with it.
Yeah, the town was supposed to declare them an invasive species, but that hasn't happened yet.
Right.
Any questions?
No?
Is there anyone from the public who wishes to speak? Is there anyone on Zoom?
No one on Zoom.
We
Okay.
did get an email on this relative to a question whether or not there would be any vegetation put back in terms of providing some type of privacy between that
Right.
area and the neighbor.
I think my clients intend to put up a fence, a solid fence, if that would become a condition, and some form of landscaping, but
Okay,
that hasn't been
some buffer.
defined yet.
That makes sense.
Yep.
Okay, good. So we can close this with a 10-day written comment period. I'll take a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Gloria, and second by Craig. All in favor? Opposed, abstention, 6 in favor, 1 absent. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good to see you all.
Number 2 is 16 Indian Avenue.
We do
notice?
have.
Great. George, do you want to read that?
Yep. Please take notice that in accordance with local law number 14 of 2022, a public hearing will be held by the Southampton Town Planning Board on Thursday, July 27th, 2023 at 6 p.m. at Town Hall, 116 Hampton Road, Southampton, and via video conferencing to consider the pre-application entitled 16 Indian Avenue LLC. The application proposes a two-lot subdivision on a 1.167 acre property currently improved with a single-family residence situated in the R20 zoning districts District and New York State Archaeological Sensitive Area, located at 201 Springville Road within the hamlet of Hampton Bays, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-293-5-18.
Thank you, George. Is things- Wayne, you're here?
Yeah.
Good evening, board members. Wayne Bruin, O'Shea, Marcinsick and Bruin for the applicant, 16 Indian Avenue LLC. This subdivision map, which is this map here, may look familiar to some board members. The applicant, as indicated in the notice, proposes to subdivide a 50,852 square foot, roughly rectangular shaped parcel located on the northerly side of Springville Road, south side of the terminus of Coolidge Road in the hamlet of Hampton Bays. It is in the R20 zoning district. The planning board previously reviewed an application for the subdivision of this property when it was a joint application with the property immediately to the east. And that was under the Freddy family, F-R-E-D-D-I. Both of the parcels at the time were single and separate, but in the Freddy family, they had proposed a joint subdivision, and they were looking to subdivide into 4 lots at that time. The planning board in 2003 adopted a pre-application report. One of their comments at the time was that to minimize traffic onto Springville, to utilize Coolidge. In 2003, the town board was undertaking a Town Law 200 Special Assessment District on Lincoln and Coolidge, and in 2004, the town board took those roads into the town highway system. So now Coolidge is a town road. Nothing happened. In fact, with that application, and eventually the application required certain variances, lot width, but the parcel to the east actually has 3 dwellings on it, and there were questions raised at that time. The applicants didn't proceed. However, in 2017, the application was renewed, and this board again adopted a pre-application report, and nothing happened with that. And in 2021, my client purchased this property only, and my understanding, the easterly property is in the estate of Frank Freddy now and is used as a rental property. There are rental permits for that use. So my client is proposing a 2-lot subdivision. The southerly lot, which is this lot, number 1, will have 29,158 square feet, and the northerly lot 2 will have 21,704, both complying in lot area for the R20 zone. The existing lot width at the building setback is less than 120 feet, and previously when the zoning board considered and had granted variances, they recognized and actually granted variances for creating that lot, although it's an existing situation with the road frontage being 107 feet. The other issue for this subdivision is that the frontage on Coolidge is not 40 feet. It's not considered a flag lot, and we will need relief to create that lot, which was recognized by the planning board in the past as well. The frontage we have is 33.79 feet, so roughly just 6 feet short of having frontage. But it's more than enough frontage, 15 feet under the state law as well. You normally would only have 20 feet in the flag. So other than that, the subdivision conforms. There's public water. The applicant is going to upgrade and change the septic system to a new IA system. And that's the proposal. So if you have any questions, be happy to answer those.
Okay. Any questions?
So that you're gonna upgrade the septic on the existing
Yes.
house, and then they'll
If
build another?
and when that gets built, it'll
Right.
obviously have the IA system.
And the existing property is gonna continue to take access of Springville? It has
The
access-
existing house, yes, there is sort of a combined common
so,
driveway.
yeah.
He may eliminate that use. You'll see these shaded areas.
I saw that, that's why I was
Yeah.
wondering what
Yeah.
that.
Interestingly, we thought when, I didn't represent him on the purchase, but supposedly the Freddie family realized that between them as family, they never needed an easement. But when they sold the property, they put these two easements, and they're actually utility easements reflecting where the water lines are.
Interesting.
It's not an access easement, though, it's interesting, but it is a utility
Utility
easement. So they will remain, they don't interfere with our use, and
So I couldn't read that, that's why I wasn't sure if that was a new access being made for 2 lots or not, so.
right, well, right now there is this driveway and it extends all the way up here for this garage apartment. That is being removed. So that this lot will not use access out this way. As this board had suggested, they'll use access to Coolidge Road, which is
Okay, thank you.
Does anyone wish to speak to this application in public? Is there anyone on Zoom?
No one on Zoom.
Okay. So I'll entertain a motion for a 10-day written comment period by George.
Second.
Second by Gloria. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions?
Thank you.
Cheryl.
6 in favor, 1 absent. Thank you. So we're up to 32 Hill Station Road.
We have noticed.
We have proper notice, and Craig, do you want to read that, please?
Sure. Please take notice that in accordance with local law number 14 in 2022, a public hearing will be held by the Southampton Town Planning Board on Thursday, July 27, 2023, at 6 p.m. Town Hall, 116 Hampton Road, Southampton, and via video conferencing to consider the pre-application entitled 32 Hill Station Road. The application proposes a 3-lot subdivision of a 122,170 square foot vacant parcel situated in the R40 zoning district and New York State archaeological sensitive area, located at 32 Hill Station Road within the Shinnecock Hills, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-210-1-64.
And
Thank you.
Kevin, if you could let in Linda Ruizi of Definitive Design, she represents the applicant.
Okay, got it.
Thank you.
Linda
Ruizi, R-U-I-S-I.
She's joining now.
Okay.
Hi, how are you?
Great. Can you give us
Everybody
your,
hear me?
yes, can you give us your name for the record?
Yes, good evening. My name is Linda Verisi of Definitive Design. I'm here on behalf of the applicant, owner 32 Hill Station Road LLC, for the pre-application of the 32 Hill Street Road, which proposes a 3-lot subdivision of 122,170 square feet, which is 2.80 acres, vacant parcel located in the R40 zoning district and the New York State archaeological sensitive area. However, it is not located in the Shinnecock Hills Cultural Resources area. The property address, as I said, is 32 Hills Station Road in the hamlet of Shinnecock Hills. The site is irregularly shaped, the shape of a bowl, and fronts on Hills Stations Road to the south and west, with frontage to the east along the Gregor Depot Road, which is an unopened road. Although it does appear there is an access drive to the lot to the north, additional research at this moment will need to be conducted to determine how the road was created, but it is not part of the adjacent subdivision to the north, the Cheviot, and is not intended to be used as part of this subdivision. Access to the proposed by the way of a common driveway off of Hill Station Road down the middle of the parcel, thus limiting the number of driveways onto the roadway. The lots are all just over 40,000 square feet in conformance with the minimum lot size requirement of the R40 zoning district. This property has received final conditional approval for the exact same subdivision design in the mid-2000s, which was subsequently extended to 2010, after which the maps were never filed for reasons that I'm not right now aware of. The subdivision was known as Bayside Hills, formerly known as Alexandros Demetrios. As this property is located in the New York State archaeological sensitive area, a Phase 1A and 1B archaeological survey was submitted as part of the original subdivision. It was determined that no artifacts were identified and there was no evidence of any native burial grounds, which is a particular concern when developing in the Shinnecock Hills region of the town. It is worth noting that the subject parcel is not located in Shinnecock Hills Cultural Resource Area and thus would not be subject to any archaeological requirements if the building permit application were to be submitted for a single-family residence. Nevertheless, given that the archaeological report was prepared as part of the prior subdivision application, such information will be submitted during the formal application as part of the SEQA review for this project. Although largely vegetated, large portions of this existing vegetation is dead or diseased. The exact cause of this I do not know at this point, but the property is not located in the Aquifer Protection Overlay District, and therefore the lots are not subject to clearing restrictions pursuant to the Chapter 330-67 of the Town Code. We will work with, of course, the town planning staff to address any issues as it pertains to the site vegetation, including any need for buffers to adjacent residential properties. The applicant is simply seeking to subdivide the property as was previously approved by the planning board with extensions and said approval up to the year 2010. I'm here, of course, to answer any questions that you or the public might have at this moment. Thank you so much for your time of listening.
So is there one main driveway entrance into the 3 lots?
There will be, yes. There'll be a common driveway serving all 3 lots in the subdivision.
And they just peel off that?
They would just peel off that. Yeah, this is different surveyor, but this is the same exact map that
I
was
remember
approved.
this, because they're such
It was approved by
oddly
the planning,
shaped,
yeah, in
they're oddly
2010.
shaped
It's an oddly
lots.
shaped lot, there's not
Yeah.
too many options, but
Is there county water there?
no, and there will be, as part of the application, the applicant's gonna have to bring in water.
Okay.
What about a cluster? Did they submit a cluster?
They didn't submit a cluster, they asked for the waiver, particularly as there's no open space adjacent to the property. And they submitted as requested as the original application, so they didn't submit a cluster plan.
And the
And as you
area
can see,
that's,
big chunk of his property's dead vegetation,
Is it pine beetle?
maybe. I have to
Probably,
have
yeah.
conservation verify that for me.
That's the very southern end of Hill Station.
Yeah.
you know, is there like a buffer that's along where Hill Station connects with Montauk Highway there?
You mean along the road frontage here?
Oh, I see. I was thinking that this property was along Hill Station Road. I'm turned around. Can you just reorient exactly where this is?
Okay. All right, let me just, oh, good. We have the canal, so this is Montauk Highway going through
Coming from
Shinnecock
Hampton
Hills.
Bays, yeah. Mhm.
It's that first big, when you make the left off of Montauk Highway to go north, it's that
Right.
first split there. The
Isn't
railroad
there a
tracks
gas,
are-
isn't that by the gas station on Montauk Highway? Or County Road, am I on County Road
No,
39?
no, not, County Road 39's half a mile, 3/4 of a mile north of that.
Okay, so we're south of there, okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're
you're-
right just above Montauk Highway.
So that, I guess what I'm getting to is the current shape of the lot. Are there buffers along the roadside that are, or does that belong to someone else?
I think
That's
that's.
right away.
What were you about to say?
Probably road right away.
It is, it's
It's
an
the right of
irregularly
way.
shaped right of way. In
I
this whole
see.
area, you can sort of see the right of way in this entire area sort of
Okay,
varies in width.
Got
all
it.
over the place. But yeah, that's one of the things I think that's gonna come out of the pre-app report is clarification on what vegetation is
Yeah,
really
and-
there, that what we, because if this is all gonna, not part of the property, is gonna stay up, that's good.
Right.
Canoe
Mhm.
Place Road, just to the south, is a trustee road.
That's right.
I believe, so.
Okay,
Yeah.
now I'm
Okay.
oriented.
thank you.
There you go.
Is there anyone who wishes to speak to the application from the audience? Is there anyone on Zoom? Besides Linda, is there anyone else?
No one else on Zoom.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, then we'll entertain a motion for a 10-day written comment period.
Motion.
Motion by Craig,
Second.
second by Kate, all in favor.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, 6 in favor, 1 absent. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time. Have a good evening.
You too.
Thank you.
We're up to number 4, 103 County Road 39.
We have proper notice.
We have proper notice, and Gloria, do you want to read that into the record?
Please take notice that in accordance with local law number 14 of 2022, a public hearing will be held by the Southampton Town Planning Board on Thursday, July 27th, 2023, at 6 p.m. at Town Hall, 116 Hampton Road, Southampton,
so much.
and via video conferencing
pass these
to
down?
consider the pre-application pre-submission conference application entitled 103 County Road 39. The site plan application is for the construction of a 15,000 square foot office building with 70 parking spaces, 25 stalls to be land banked, and 4 ADA compliance spaces on a 2.49 acre parcel located in the OD zoning district, New York State Archaeological Sensitive Area, and situated at 103 County Road 39 within the hamlet of North Sea. Southampton County Tax Map Number 900-159-1-6.1.
You have pre-hearing notes.
Good evening, Carl Benacasa, 860 Montauk Highway, Watermill, for the applicant. There's two handouts that you're
Yeah,
getting passed
you got 'em.
out. With me this evening is Aaron Mactay, Michael Andriassi, and Andrew Kelly from VHB. So 103 County Road 39 may look familiar to maybe one of you. Back in 2005, this site had obtained site plan approval for a development incredibly similar to the one before you today. It's the exact same building in the exact same size, configuration, and location. The distinction is with regard to parking. This site plan provides more parking, as we are proposing medical office, which requires higher parking density, 1 to 150 under the code as opposed to 1 to 180 of gross floor area for regular general office use. The gross floor area associated with the 15,000 square foot building is roughly 14,800 square feet, making the required parking 99 under the code. We are providing 70 built-out spaces, 4 handicap spaces, and 25 land bank spaces.
Can you just orient me, is this north or south of County
Oh,
Road
sure.
39?
It's on County Road 39, just west of Burger King, just east of the
The
cemetery.
cemetery.
Okay,
It's on the north side.
so it's on the north side.
It is a 108,391 square foot lot. So to your east is 71 County Road 39, which is Burger King,
Mhm.
and the cemetery's to the west.
That's a big medical offices sign or something, I think.
Coming soon.
Is that the one?
And
Yeah.
that's where you guys come in.
Yeah.
You know, Carl, over the years, we have really tried to, in sites like this, put the parking in the rear of the lot and put the building in the front, so that when the visual impact is not a parking lot, which this will be. And so I wonder if you had considered that when you were laying out the plan?
So the plan was largely based on the approved site plan done before.
That was a long, long time ago.
It was a long time ago.
And I don't remember this quite this way, with a center round,
The silo? The silo was there.
the silo. Well, maybe I have forgotten for a reason.
Yeah, with the parking in
So
front
anyway,
is the
my point is the parking.
Yeah, this would be much more attractive, this building.
To look at in the
Yeah.
front with parking behind, and you've got enough circulation there
Yeah.
to be able to do it. So I certainly would suggest you consider that.
We'll discuss it with the applicant.
Putting the building up front and the parking in the back.
Yeah, and put the parking behind.
One of your pages of the packet, you're showing some vegetated buffer in the front. Is that intended to be a certain height?
As far as the landscape plan,
Right,
I don't, it wasn't.
just to address what they're asking.
You're talking about visual aesthetic? If you have a preference, I'm sure we can work with it. That's, this is a preliminary site plan, it's a preliminary landscape plan, and we can certainly address any concerns you would have from an aesthetic point of view.
So what you say storage areas, you mean these will be doctors' offices, medical
Storage
offices?
areas are just in the unfinished basement.
In the
For the
basement?
second and first floor will be finished space for doctor's offices.
Got it.
There's no specific build-out, we don't have a tenant yet lined up, certainly. But you can see there's a proposed or an exemplary build-out in there. I think it shows about 31 to 41 office spaces and examination rooms.
Okay, so it's a type 1 action.
Or just by virtue of the site and the plot. So it's very medical space, it may be doctor's offices or labs or
Exactly,
anything.
yes.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. And, the impact on County Road 39 there is pretty intense with,
The
how many,
rooms?
what's the parking calculation?
So the required is 99.
99.
We're providing 70 with 25 land banked and 4 handicap. A traffic study was conducted by VHB. Mr. McTay is here if you have any
We have.
specific questions on that.
When was that
I'm not
conducted?
working on this one, so I'm not totally sure.
Yeah. Mr. McTay from VHB will discuss the traffic.
Aaron McTay with VHB from our Hopog office. The study was based on counts that were performed in August of 2022, with the understanding that particularly, the seasonal traffic in this area on County Road 39 can swell during the summertime, as opposed to other parts of the island, which kind of sees a decrease during the summer.
Okay,
We haven't seen it.
we
I don't
haven't
think
seen the
we've seen
traffic
the study.
report, no.
No, we'll submit it.
Yeah, we had a conversation with an applicant earlier today about it not being just a summer season, and that it expands from May till October. So, and County Road 39 in that spot is a parking lot. We all live here, so we all experience that, and when there's a major accident, it's with a fatality, the road is cut down, the road is closed.
So basically, the town shuts down, nothing moves, because the other two roads can't handle it.
Right, so, cross-access becomes particularly important here,
Yes.
and if you'll consider the suggestion that you put the parking areas in the rear of the lot, then a cross-access plan could more easily hook into Burger King,
Yeah.
where we do have a cross-access in place. I think, Anthony, is that correct?
Yep,
We have cross-access with Burger King.
yes, I did the site.
And we're working on cross-access to get it out to,
North Sea,
North Sea.
North Sea Road.
Well, absolutely. Regarding the parking, as was alluded to, that's something that we can certainly talk about with
I hope
the
so.
applicant. With regards to the cross-access, when you do get the traffic study, what you'll see is that we did analyze two scenarios. One with the access solely from County Road 39, and one which assumed that the cross-access was established, just because it was up in the air at the time that we were doing the
Right.
analysis. In that cross-access scenario, that does help to take a little bit of the traffic away from the critical intersection at North Sea Road. So,
but at least there's a signal there.
there is a signal
Yeah.
there. What I'm saying is it helps. By having the cross-access, it helps.
Sure.
And ultimately, what we were able to find is that, in terms of the incremental increase in delay and the other measures that we assess in the traffic study, either scenario works, but I would say that the cross-access scenario is more desirable.
Right, and we don't have complete cross-access there. We don't have it linked completely to
Well,
North Sea.
For the record, the study assumed that it would be eventually established for
We hope.
the complete cross-access, just because that has the potential to more significantly change the travel patterns.
And what about the alternative in this traffic study when it doesn't happen within the next couple of years?
We did analyze that. We analyzed that assuming the full access from
Okay.
County Road 30.
If you can get us that traffic study, that would be
Absolutely,
great.
absolutely.
We'll submit.
Right. And just a couple of quick observations on the site plan with regard to parking lot and circulation. Looks like two potential cross-access points on what I think is the Meineke place to the right,
Mhm.
or Burger King to the right, I'm not sure which that is, one in the front and one in the back. Just be interested why there are two. I mean, I think that's good, but maybe that's our option to determine. And then out to the west side, it looks like, but I'm not sure it is, a potential cross-access to the west.
To the
But
cemetery?
Is that the cemetery?
Yeah.
They don't
Is
have
that
any.
cemetery process, property, so that's not gonna cross that.
No.
No,
That's-
they don't- there's no
We-
cross-access.
Yeah, they're both.
I think that's a truck loading area on the site plan.
it's
That
not
you might
And
be-
then on the
that you might
site
be-
plan, it shows a left and a right coming out onto 39, and I think the pre-hearing notes, and I think that I speak maybe here, say, I think a left out of there is not something
No.
we'd be very amenable to.
Understood. Well, you know, the cross-access scenario, if that gets established, that does sort of obfuscate the need, obviate the need for the left out of this site directly.
And there, you have like some stacked retaining walls at the front, is that strictly aesthetic, or is just, it's high, it's about 5 feet high, it looks like?
Well,
Very-
I have to defer to the site engineers. I just count the cars, so.
Oh,
That's a full-time job.
It is, trust me.
There's no rendering on that, but it's a 5-foot high retaining wall and berm at the front.
Well, and then on another page, it shows a planting plan, on one it shows a planting plan,
Yes.
on one it shows the berm, so.
Madam Chair, members of the board, thank you. My name is Michael Andriossi, the project manager with VHB. And to answer your question, the retaining walls are aesthetic, and they also help retain some of the landscape berm that is proposed in the front of the site to help hide the parking area and kind of beautify the frontage of the property.
But if we move the parking to the back, then you don't have to hide it.
That is
You can
correct.
have street trees and you can have, like this, like your submission.
Yeah, I mean, this would be much nicer looking on the road rather than in the back of the property where nobody's gonna see it except the people who use the property.
Okay. Is there anyone who wishes to speak to this application in the audience? Is there anyone on Zoom? No one? Any other questions from the board? This is pre-submission, so we would have a 30-day written comment period. Carl, anything more for us? That's it? Okay.
You parking in the
Entertain-
rear, right?
Entertain a motion, yes, to close with a 30-day written comment period.
Motion.
Motion by George, second by Tom, all in favor.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, 6 in favor, 1 absent. Thank you very much.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
We'll submit that parking.
Carl, do you want these
traffic
back?
study.
Please.
Would you like,
Just because it's
Would you like
getting
these
to
back?
39, it may be 30.
See the next version.
It will become controversial.
I'll take this one, Carl. So we've got motion to adjourn. Motion by Craig, second by George, all in favor. Opposed, abstentions. 6 in favor, 1 absent. We are adjourned.
Prosperity.